Testing, testing. Thank you. I'd like to call to order the October 16, 2025 meeting of the Vernon Township Board of Ed. Can I get a roll call, Mr. Slam?
Mr. Semaglia,
Here.
Mr. Catino, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Kraus,
Here.
Ms. Pellet,
Here.
Dr. Ross,
Here.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes. Here.
Ms. Vaccarello,
Here.
Mr. Zimmerman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. It's recommended that the board enter closed session for the purposes of discussing legal, personnel, and student matters. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second, John, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Closed. We don't take attendance, too?
It got condensed,
Thank you.
the new version.
Okay, it's recommended that the board return to open session. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ray. So you're saying this is a roll call?
Yep, so we need a motion in a second, so it's
We
recommended.
did, yeah.
Yep, sorry, I missed it, sorry.
That's okay.
Mr. Contino? Mr. Fisher?
Are we voting or are we present?
Voting.
Voting? Wait, what are we voting?
We're voting on reopening the meeting to the public.
Oh, aye.
Mr. Kraus?
Here.
Ms. Pellet?
Here, yes.
Dr. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Ms. Vaccarello?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Semaglia?
Yes.
Motion carries. And then other attendance, Ms. O'Donnell?
Here.
Ms. Mendez?
Present.
And I'm here.
Great, thank you. You're down for item 5, Mr. Slam. It's usually me.
Would you please show me with the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 6.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, Vernon Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published, and adequate notice has been provided, and notice of this meeting has been properly posted in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law. Just a quick note, our next public meeting will be Thursday, November 20th.
Thank you. Item 7, approval of the minutes. These are the minutes of the closed public session meeting from September 18, 2025, and the minutes of the public session meeting from September, of the public session meeting from September 18, 2025. Please, board members who need to abstain, take note of that. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Ray. Any questions or comments? About the minutes? No, seeing none. Can we get a vote?
Mr. Fisher?
Aye.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Ms. Pellet?
Yes.
Dr. Ross?
Abstain.
Mr. Sweeney?
Abstain from item A.
Yes for B.
Yes, for B, yes, sorry.
Thank you. Ms. Vaccarello?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Semaglia?
Yes.
Mr. Contino? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8, President's Report. Happy fall, everybody. We're well into the school year now, and our buildings are bustling with activity. Tonight, we're going to hear from the administration about the NJSLA state test results, and we're going to recognize 16 Vernon Township students who achieved perfect scores on those assessments, some of whom are here tonight to accept that recognition in person. Congratulations to all of you on this outstanding achievement. I also want to note that we've transitioned to a new Board of Education agenda format, which you'll see reflected in both the printed agenda and in how we conduct our meeting tonight. One of the notable changes is that committee reports that relate to specific sections of the agenda will now take place just before we cover those items rather than at the start of the meeting. And for those watching from home, the link to tonight's agenda will be posted on the YouTube channel, but you can also see it at the VTSD website under the Board of Education's Agenda and Minutes page. With that, I'd like to welcome Dr. Vinnie Gagliostro and Dr. Halish Shep, who will be presenting the NJSLA. Oh, we're going to actually, no, wait, I'm sorry. We're going to do our student recognition first. Yay! So let's do that, the fun part.
Yes, the fun part. However, before we begin our presentation this evening, I would like to pause and acknowledge a heartbreaking loss in our school community. Zachary Matthews, who was a 2024 graduate of Vernon Township High School, tragically passed away on October 3rd as a result of injuries sustained in a car accident. His mother, Rosemary Matthews, is a valued member of our staff at Rolling Hills Primary School. So at this time, I ask that we would join together in a moment of silence to honor Zachary's life and to support his family during this difficult time. Thank you. So as we move forward with this evening's agenda, we do shift our focus over to the NJSLA. The New Jersey State Assessment results for the 24-25 school year are in, and they reflect the learning, the growth, and the commitment across our schools. This year, we are thrilled to recognize 16 students across grades 3 through 11 who earned a perfect score on the NJSLA in either ELA, math, Algebra 1, or science. That's right, perfect, a perfect score. This achievement is not only a testament to the dedication of our students, but to their teachers, to their families, to our schools, and to our leadership that supported them. Each of you tonight who achieved that perfect score will receive a certificate of excellence. It is a symbol of our pride and our celebration of your outstanding academic performance. Please join me in congratulating these exceptional learners. Congratulations. We're going to come up to the podium, and I'm going to call your name. When your name is called, I'm going to ask that you come to the front, right in the circle, and remain standing so that we can acknowledge each of you and take a group photo, and then we'll do that with the families, okay? Thank you. Winter Duffy, grade 7 ELA. Allison Getz, grade 8 ELA. A special commendation to Emily Gosses, grade 9 ELA, for a perfect score 2 consecutive years in a row, last year and the year before. Nathaniel Gercio, grade 3 math. Renee Kaspor, grade 8 ELA. Drew Mountain, grade 8 Algebra 1. Elizabeth Peak, grade 11 Science. Thomas Reeves, grade 3 Math. Arden Rose, grade 3 ELA. Skylar Werner, grade 8 ELA. Hannah Yeager, grade 3 ELA. Congratulations. I think those are those who are present. I am going to call off the names of the others who could not make it this evening. We have Paula Krasian, grade 11 ELA, Lauren Goolsby, grade 11 ELA, Caitlin Jensen, grade 11 ELA, Liam Kelter, grade 11 ELA, and Elizabeth Peak, grade 11 ELA. Oh, come on up. No, come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Woo. Thank you to our students and to our families. Of course, you're welcome to stay for a very long NJSLA presentation, but if not, have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, feel free to flee.
Thank you.
We'll give you guys a minute.
You're welcome to stay.
Yeah, we should have had cake. Where's our cake? You know we like cake. That's fine. Oh, yes, we do have to move. Well, that was the fun part. But it was fun. One was asked me where we were, and she's not here. Okay, what school building did you?
Way to clear a room.
It's because we don't have cake.
That's right, there's no cake, that's what it is.
No cake.
We're not gonna live it down.
We should have brought the brownies.
Oops. Yeah, right?
They were good,
There
too.
weren't enough, though. We've had to cut them more. Yeah.
Bye, thank you. What is it about,
Yeah.
right?
It's impressive.
All right, good people.
We still have some.
And then there were 5.
If anyone wants to adjust your seats, you can at this point.
I love that you're sitting on high chairs. And so then our next item is the presentation of the 24-25 New Jersey State Assessment results. But what a way to begin, right, with the perfect scores and the achievement of our students. These assessments do provide one important measure of how our students are progressing in key academic areas, English language, arts and math, and science. To lead us through the presentation, Mr. Vinny Gagliastro, our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, and Dr. Halise Shep, our Supervisor of STEM K through 12, will highlight our key performance trends, our areas of improvement, and how we're using this information to strengthen teaching and learning across our district.
All right, good evening, everyone. So tonight's presentation is about more than scores. It's about student growth, how our systems respond, and the continuous work our staff does to make sure every learner moves forward. We'll look at how Vernon performed on the 2025 NJSLA, where we're seeing progress, and how we're using this data to strengthen instruction district-wide. So why we measure student performance? The New Jersey Student Learning Assessments are statewide assessments that assess students' progress towards the New Jersey Student Learning Standards in English Language Arts, or ELA, as you hear often, mathematics, and science. The NJSLA gives us a snapshot, one data point in a much larger picture. When we pair it with iReady and classroom assessments, it shows us where growth is happening and what still needs attention. We use it directionally. It tells us whether the supports we've put in place are working and where we need to adjust. So what was assessed in the spring of 2025? For NJSLA, ELA and math are assessed in grades 3 through 9, with Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry at the secondary level. Science is assessed at grades 5, 8, and 11. This data gives us critical insight into foundational reading, reasoning, and problem-solving skills. The DLM, or Dynamic Learning Maps, assessment is the state's alternate test for students with IEPs for whom the NJSLA would not be appropriate. It measures ELA, math, and science skills through accessible adaptive tasks that show each student's learning and growth. So as a quick orientation, performance levels are the lens we'll use throughout the presentation. For ELA, for example, proficiency is levels 4 and 5. Students met or exceeded expectations. You'll see similar framing in math and science as we walk through the results. What we'll explore tonight. So tonight, here's the lens we'll be using. Where our students are growing, what still needs attention, and how interventions and tiered supports are closing those gaps. You'll see how Tier 1 and Tier 2 systems, the instruction that happens in every classroom, and the targeted supports that build on it work together. Okay, so in elementary ELA, grade 3 is a bright spot. Our task is to extend that momentum into grades 4 and 5 with the same coherence in Tier 1 and targeted supports. Our third grade students exceeded the state average, a strong signal that early literacy interventions are working. The dedicated interventionists, win time, and coaching are creating momentum. As we move into grades 4 and 5, we see performance taper off slightly, which tells us sustaining support beyond grade 3 is key for us. So, in grade 3, we're encouraged by the strong performance, where our students exceeded the state average. This reflects the solid foundation being built at our grade 2-3 building. We've invested in dedicated interventionists there, embedded win time, and instructional coaching, along with data-driven support structures. As we follow this cohort into grades 4 and 5, we notice a dip in performance. While some variation is expected as the standards increase in complexity, it's important to note that grades 4 and 5 currently do not have the same level of intervention staffing or structured Tier 2 programming. Additionally, the number of instructional minutes allocated to math decreases from 80 minutes in grade 3 to 60 minutes in grades 4 and 5. These structural differences don't go unnoticed in the data, and they help us reflect on how we can expand what's working in earlier grades to sustain growth as students progress through elementary school. So are we sustaining growth beyond grade 3? Let's look more closely at that. On the right, we see the grade 5 cohort, students who were in grade 3 2 years ago. They made strong gains between grade 3 and 4, jumping from 23.2% to 42.2% proficiency. But by grade 5, that number dropped slightly to 38.6%. The grade 4 cohort, students who were in grade 3 last year, show an encouraging trajectory from 36.1% to 46.8%. So what changed? When we look closely at our systems, we know that grades 2 and 3 benefit again from those dedicated structures we mentioned earlier. Interventionists dedicated to that building, 80-minute literacy blocks, and embedded win time with regular regrouping. But by the end of grade 4, instructional time still decreases to 60 minutes and the interventionist coverage ends. WIN still exists at grades 4 and 5, but it is less consistently structured and the demands of the curriculum increase. This data reinforces what we're seeing in classrooms. Intervention matters, especially in the upper elementary years when text complexity increases and foundational skills must be solidified. This slide highlights performance across student groups in grades 3 through 5. It's important to note that some groups, like our economically disadvantaged students and students with disabilities, have relatively small numbers, which means individual student growth can significantly influence the percentages. We're encouraged by the parity we see across racial and ethnic groups, across all grades, where Hispanic and white students perform at similar levels. That tells us curricular supports are reaching students consistently in those early grades. What students learn and how we support it. We use a standards-aligned curriculum from K to 5 that builds critical literacy skills from phonics to advanced comprehension. Every program is paired with PD or professional development to support implementation, and we are using ongoing training to strengthen alignment between what we teach and how we intervene when students need more help. As a district, we're committed to building a consistent system of early tiered support. What we've seen work in grade 3, strong core instruction paired with targeted intervention, is something we want to extend to all grades. That's why one of our top priorities this year is to conduct a comprehensive preschool through grade 12 MTSS needs assessment with support from the American Institutes for Research Teams in every building will examine the quality and consistency of our supports, identifying where additional structures are needed and where Tier 1 can be strengthened. This will work with the board's approval tonight of our AIR partnership, and it reflects our ongoing commitment to the data-driven decisions that ensure every student has access to what they need to grow. In secondary ELA, we're seeing encouraging gains where literature lab and Tier 1 coaching are consistently implemented. For grades 7 and 9, we're seeing strong results exceeding the state. There are also the grades with more established coaching and supports like literature lab. Grade 6 lags slightly, suggesting a need to bridge the transition from elementary school. Grade 8 hovers near state average, but hasn't grown as consistently. We also see a large group of students sitting just below proficiency, what we often call the approaching group. This is where we can make real measurable gains. By expanding targeted intervention and small group instruction, especially in grades 6 and 8, we're aiming to move those students into proficiency and strengthen our overall outcomes. On the next slide, we can see the same story of growth over time when we look at the 3-year trend. Grade 6 continues to show improvement from where this cohort started 2 years ago, but as we mentioned earlier, it still lags a bit behind the upper middle grades. That reinforces our focus on strengthening the transition from elementary literacy routines into middle school expectations. Grade 7 stands out as one of our strongest cohorts again, now at 62.8% proficiency, which represents a 12-point gain since 2023. This growth is a direct reflection of consistent coaching cycles and the literature lab structure where students are getting explicit skill instruction paired with writing conferences. Grade 8 remains near the state average, but what's encouraging here is that we're holding steady while continuing to refine Tier 1 supports. We're targeting this grade band for additional small group instruction and data-informed reteaching to move students from that approaching level into proficiency. And at the high school level, grade 9 continues to perform very well, up nearly 15 points since 2023. That improvement mirrors the same systems of support we've built in grades 6 through 8, common alignment, targeted feedback cycles, and literacy-focused coaching. The key takeaway is that our growth is coming from connected work, curriculum alignment, consistent Tier 1 instruction, and targeted Tier 2 interventions. This is where we're seeing our most measurable impact, especially for those students sitting just below proficiency. So how are students progressing in middle school? Here we're looking at our ELA cohort progression, specifically how each group performs as they move through the middle school and early high school levels. Starting with the grade 8 cohort, these students showed very strong growth as they moved from grade 6 to grade 7, nearly 39% growth overall. That's significant progress and reflects strong alignment in instruction and coaching during that transition year. As they transitioned into 8th grade, we see a slight dip of about 3%. Which tells us consistency is a key focus moving forward. We have a foundation of Tier 1 instruction, but we need to ensure timely intervention to move those approaching students once again, the ones who are just below proficiency, over that threshold. Now looking at the grade 9 cohort, the trend is similar, but even more encouraging. This group saw a small 8.6% decrease from grade 7 to grade 8, followed by a 26.5% rebound in grade 9. That rebound reflects the impact of Tier 1 instruction at the high school level. What's especially notable is that those same scaffolds and feedback structures that we built in middle school are now fully embedded at the high school. Teachers are using data to identify gaps early and reteach quickly, and that's driving measurable improvement. So the takeaway from this slide is consistency again. We maintain that strong Tier 1 instruction and deliver targeted interventions early. Then we will see steady upward movement over time. That's how we close gaps while keeping growth sustainable. This slide shows performance across student groups in grades 6 through 9. As in earlier grades, some groups have smaller numbers, so again, individual student performance can impact the percentages noticeably. We're encouraged by the upward trend for Hispanic students by grade 9. That consistency suggests our instructional shifts are reaching students, particularly in core classrooms. However, gaps remain for students with disabilities and those who are economically disadvantaged, highlighting the need to expand targeted supports and ensure instructional access is consistent across all grade levels.
So now we're going to look at our mathematics program. And what you're going to notice is that elementary math is going to mirror ELA. Strong grade 3 performance with opportunities for growth in grades 4 and 5. So what we see here in grade 3 is that our students outperformed the state by nearly 8 percentage points, an encouraging sign that our early math instruction is taking hold. But students, as they move across grades 4 and 5, performance drops below the state average, particularly in grade 4. This trend is consistent with what we saw in ELA and points again to the structural shifts that we need to incur. Specifically, we notice in grades 4 and 5, we have less instructional time, fewer intervention resources, and more complex content demands. This data reinforces what we know. Early investment is paying off, as seen in grade 3. And to maintain that momentum, we need consistent support through upper elementary. And in our next slide, here we see the 3-year comparison. Look what stands out, grade 3. Over the past 2 years, grade 3 math proficiency has increased by more than 53%, rising from 37.5 in 2023 to 57.4 this past spring. That's a remarkable gain and shows what's possible when our tiered systems of support are fully in place and functioning as intended. The success here is not accidental. It's built on a consistent structure. Grade 3 benefits from what's called a WIN period, which stands for what I need, and that time is strategically used for small group math instruction. We also have dedicated math coaching, and they are modeling Tier 1 practices for our teachers. We also have 80-minute instructional blocks that allow for deeper conceptual, hands-on learning. We also have regular iReady cycles that guide regrouping and reteaching based on real-time data. When we then look at grades 4 and 5, we can see where there's an area of opportunity to bring that same level of consistency and intentionality. Instructional time in those grades is 60 minutes compared to 80 minutes in 3rd grade. And they currently don't have dedicated interventionists or a math-specific what I need WIN period. Those factors limit the consistency and the depth of small group instruction, and that has been so successful, as you can see, in grade 3. I believe the key takeaway here really is that our model in grade 3 is working. Evidence shows us that. The next step is to align grades 4 and 5 to that model by restoring instructional time and systematizing intervention strategies. That's how we can sustain these gains and ensure stronger foundations as students move through the upper grades. So how are our students maintaining math growth beyond grade 3? This slide here shows a 3-year comparison of our grades 3 through 5 as cohorts. On the left, you can see the performance of our grade 5 students as they progress from grade 3 to 4 to 5. While there was a dip in grade 4, we are encouraged by the rebound in grade 5, reflecting the impact of our strengthened Tier 1 supports, math coaching, and interventions. On the right is our grade 4 cohort, and you'll notice a similar trend. Strong performance in grade 3 with some regression in grade 4 that we are actively addressing this year. Our core strategies, from standards-based curriculum to real-time data cycles and embedded coaching, are all designed to support access and achievement. The focus this year remains on consistency in instruction, grade level alignment, and small group supports where needed. So now we're going to look at performance by student groups. This slide shows us student groups in grade 3 through 5. As an ELA, some groups have smaller numbers, so individual student percentages will therefore shift percentages noticeably. In grade 3, we are encouraged by the overall strength across groups, particularly among our Hispanic students, who are performing above the general education average. That consistency suggests that our early math supports and Tier 1 instruction are effectively reaching students at that grade. However, as we move into grades 4 and 5, we begin to see a widening gap for students with disabilities and those who are economically disadvantaged. These differences highlight the need to extend the same level of targeted intervention and structured math support that has been exceptionally effective in grade 3. Moving forward then, the focus remains on expanding consistency, ensuring every grade level has equitable access to instructional time, data-informed regrouping, and small group intervention. That alignment will be key to sustaining growth and closing gaps across all student groups. So how are we turning the data into action to support math learning? And this slide presents a summary of some of the things we have in place. Everything begins with the iReady data diagnostic, which identifies students performing below grade level and pinpoints the specific skills needed for reinforcement. The data then drives the creation of smart, goal-driven small groups designed collaboratively by teachers, interventionists, and our math coach. During win time, students receive small group instruction directly, and that is aligned with their iReady results. This allows teachers to target gaps while keeping students engaged with grade level content. In grade 3, we have added personalized fluency practice through the Thinking Map, which is our iReady partner, which builds automaticity and number sense. This is important and critical for long-term success in math. Our coaching model, our math coaching model, also continues to strengthen Tier 1 instruction. Coaches and teachers co-plan lessons, practice scaffolding strategies, and use ongoing data reviews to ensure interventionists and interventions align with grade level expectations. We also invest in summer professional development to refine curriculum alignment and support vertical consistency. And we make curriculum adjustments throughout the year based on teacher feedback and student data. The overall message here is that improvement in math achievement isn't coming from more time or effort, it's coming from a better system aligned. Each layer of support, from diagnostic data to daily instruction, is coordinated to meet students where they are and move them forward.
So as we move into secondary math, our story really divides into two connected parts. The first centers on algebra readiness and course placement, making sure that students are not just moving into Algebra 1, but doing so with foundational understanding they need for success. The second focuses on curricular alignment, particularly in grade 8 math, where the course must bridge the middle school standards and the Algebra 1 content that students will be tested on in high school. Together, these two areas define how well our secondary math program prepares students for the full progression through Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. The next few slides, we will walk through that picture, showing where our alignment is strong, where growth is happening, and where we're concentrating our next phase of improvement. In grade 8, students take either the grade 8 math NJSLA or the Algebra 1 assessment, depending on course enrollment. This year, 93 students took the grade 8 math assessment, and 124 were assessed through Algebra 1. As you can see, students taking Algebra 1 outperformed the state by nearly 14 percentage points, with 51.7% of students meeting or exceeding expectations. This is exceptionally strong performance, not only in comparison to the state, but across the nation. NAEP performance for Algebra 1 in grade 8 continues to hover at 39%. This shows us that With strong preparation and placement, students rise to the challenge of rigorous coursework. On the other hand, our grade 8 math scores reflect an area of opportunity. Just 4.3% of students met or exceeded expectations, compared to 20.7% statewide. This gap invites us to not look at student potential, but at how we place and support students in grade 8, and how we design the curriculum that meets both Math 8 and algebra standards. It's clear we need to refine our placement process and curriculum to ensure students are not only in the right course, but are also accessing the content aligned to the standards being assessed in Algebra 1 and or Math 8. We're excited to begin that work this year, revisiting placement criteria, revising curriculum, building in stronger Tier 1 and Tier 2 supports, and ensuring students in both pathways receive high-quality, data-informed instruction.
So while we're looking at this slide, we're going to dig a little deeper into the Algebra 1 piece. So as you recall, our students take Algebra 1 in either 8th or 9th grade, depending on their readiness and placement. Starting with grade 8, you can see strong results. 51.7% of our students met or exceeded expectations, outperforming the state by nearly 14 percentage points. That speaks, as we said prior, to both strong preparation in earlier grades and the impact of our current placement process for advanced learners. In grade 9, 33.5% of students met expectations. While this is slightly below our district average, it reaffirms our next focus and what it needs to be. Ensuring that our grade 8 to 9 transition math curricula are tightly aligned and that we are continuing to strengthen Algebra 1 readiness across both grades. Overall, our district average is 40.8. This still outpaces the New Jersey number of 37.9, showing we're moving in the right direction. Going forward, we'll continue to monitor readiness, refine placement, and adjust instruction across both grades so that all students, whether taking Algebra 1 early or on the traditional pathway, have equitable access to success. So now we're going to look at a 3-year comparison. This slide is going to allow us to look at math performance across grades 6 through 8, including grade 8 algebra. So let's start with the positives. We're seeing steady and meaningful growth in grades 6 and 7. Grade 7 showed nearly 23% growth over 2 years, reaching 45.8% proficiency, which moves us closer to that key 50% benchmark. Grade 6 held steady this year, maintaining the strong gains established in 2024 at 33.7%. The biggest highlight, as we've noted previously, is grade 8 Algebra 1, which demonstrated 49.6% growth from last year, now performing at 51.6% proficiency. This reinforces that our acceleration pathway is working and students are ready for advanced coursework. They're not just keeping up, they're excelling. On the other hand, our grade 8 general math pathway remains an area of focus, with just 4.3% meeting or exceeding expectations. So what this means for us is it points to a curriculum realignment issue rather than student capacity. So as we move forward, our focus will be to strengthen intervention structures, especially for students moving along the Math 8 pathway. We will continue to leverage instructional coaching and small group instruction to support coherence and readiness across all 3 grades. So basically, in short, the data is telling a consistency story where alignment, coaching, and acceleration are in place, students are thriving. Our next step is to ensure every student benefits from the same level of access and support.
This slide